Hello, friends. Welcome to the Zodiac Mega Monthly Report for Sagittarius. I'm Sensei Christopher Witecki, and I'm joined here by my co-host, Robbie Hunt. Hi, Robbie.
Hey there, Christopher. It's been a while since you and I have seen each other, hasn't it? Good to be behind the camera with you.
Thank you very much. Yes, the world has changed a little bit. In fact, actually, a lot of changes in Step Zero Scorpio. Would you care to talk about what you've gone through? Because I'll need my therapist here when I do mine.
Good Lord, I was going to say, how long have you got?
Yeah, zero time and space is like it's like Doctor Who phone book. Phone book.
Yeah.
You go in there and you don't know how big space is. You go first. How was Scorpio for you this year?
Well, I mean, did we not call it as a team about weathering uncomfortable growth? Because that has been the case. I have, it's been uncomfortable. It's been not unbearable, but it has been very uncomfortable. It has gotten very personal in some ways, very intimate in terms of the conversations I've had to have with others. But just in what I've witnessed and watched in the relationships of people that I care about, where I don't have a dog in the fight. I'm just sitting there watching it and watching how others they're not in the uncomfortable, they're in the unbearable.
Oh,
And not one damn thing I can do for them, So, and I really feel like we're going to continue this throughout the rest of the year. It is going to be this uncomfortable growth, but man, and you're right about that whole zero with the space in it. At times, it felt so alone, so alone. And then times where I felt everybody was in that circle with me, just pressing on me, like I'm feeling smothered. That's how it was for me. So, Dish, tell me how it was for you.
Well, it's not over.
Yeah, it's not over.
I haven't got to the moon coming up here. The new moon is in the next 24 hours. As we tape this
Right.
on the edge of Scorpio, step 27 today. It was to the bone, but you know what? I got to the core issue see, I'm a Taurus, as you know. So Scorpio for me is mostly relationships, particularly in this last decade, long-term partnerships, relationships, things like that. And I got to the core issue of any relationship, irritation that there may be. And to each case, like cutting out a tumor, cutting out whatever was not working, or deciding to dissolve situations that don't work anymore, but realizing, man, I've been walking around with that ache for this many years or that many years. So grateful in the end for the surgeries and the different exchanges and the truth to be finally set. A lot of truth came to service, truth, both parties.
Uh-oh. Oh, there we go. Okay.
That was weird. Okay.
That
Are
was
you the host?
strange.
I don't know. So anyways, it got to the core, the core issue in relationships, the core hiccups and the giddy up. And in some cases, the core, because Scorpio is my fourth house in my natal. So, to the core, oh, this is where this started and this is what it's grown into. So like a beginning end kind of thing too. Like, like it's typical Scorpio's fashion from beginning to end, the full circle of what it was. So I would say it's been very healthy. But I would also say I'm very comfortable with the uncomfortable. You give me as much as you want. This Taurus is going to stand strong, not in that storm, not a problem. So that was a good test also.
Well, you've had to learn how to be uncomfortable with it over the past 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, no, it's taken that long. And me progressing into a sun Cancer was also part of the issue, like in these last 4 or 5 years, I think I'm a sun, progressed 9 Cancer, and I'm in that 9. So this is the year where I finally have gotten to a point where I can know how to nurture myself through anything, I feel. Yeah. So it's good. So at the end of the day, it feels like a graduation, Scorpio, for me. Now, maybe that's not everyone, but it feels like a graduation of many, 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 many timelines, many, many, many things I've been having to learn, all finally coming up into a bow. So I do feel as we go into Sagittarius, it is a new day.
Sagittarius does bring the energy of the optimism and, the wet and the dark of Scorpio. We can get into the fire and the sun of Sagittarius. So it is a big shift in energy. As long as we get out of the steam room, I'm just like thinking about just being in this incredibly hot sauna with this Scorpio season. And as long as we, just go ahead and put the towel around us and walk out, Otherwise, I think we could carry it into Sagittarius. I don't know, but it,
Mm.
it's been sticky and hot and messy.
But I've lost weight and I look good.
You do look good, Christopher. You do. You know, I see some color in the cheeks there to
Yeah.
match that
See,
very mid-century modern shirt.
thank you. I'm such a modern. Exactly true. It's exactly true. I do believe now on a big scope of things, I feel like this is the beginning of a new era. I mean, we've been looking for the exact start of this new era for a long time. We've claimed it many times, but they're like, oh no, there's still junk in there, working out the pus or whatever, those old wounds and trauma. But I feel now, part of Scorpio is closure to, I think all of our karmic born traumas, or the opportunity for closure. Some people haven't got there yet. You're taking another, 30 years.
Oh, 100%. I think if you want to say where, yeah, the new era and some stuff is, yeah, I think we're going to say it starts with Sagittarius 2025. Yeah.
It does feel that way, and authentically, and which means for a more practical way of looking at this, I believe that before we come down, the company of heaven, we have timelines we subscribe to, and these are timelines that are like complicated edit decision lists, of life. And so we're loading, I feel, between Scorpio and Sag, we're loading a new array of events. And in some cases, by the time we're about, by the time this time next year, I don't know if you'll recognize your life, because life will have changed so much. People, friends, events, just what's cool, what's not cool, what you're into, what you're not into, just a whole different person, to where you could say, normally we would die and be reborn between this much of a change. Normally we would die and be reborn. That's how much of a change I feel it is. It is literally a new lifetime in a lifetime.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And look, the final dropping of a lot of stuff was Scorpio, which what made it uncomfortable
Yeah.
and made a lot of people, I think, go back into melancholy and nostalgia and
Mm-hmm.
all of that kind of stuff. And that made it even worse. But look, the stuff with Sag is not so much intense this time as it is. There's things that we see as we go through Sag that just says, this is it. This isn't going to happen again for another so many hundred years. This isn't going to happen again. This isn't going to happen again. So there's a lot that just puts this at the end. And that just tells you what Scorpio was all about. Just the final, steaming it off, I guess.
Yeah, well, definitely. And also, I think one thing about Scorpio too is that, I've said it on the Pep Talks and Sirius Joy. It's like we've learned there's a lot of truths that came out, and I would say that truth, there are a lot of truths that I can't unhear that. And so I changed like the passenger list, the guest list for the next story tremendously, actually, just from those final little like truths that just wasn't going to tolerate anymore. Just like I'm done. I don't want this in my story anymore. I'm done. So last minute edits too. I think Scorpios has also been profound. And the Sag
Mhm.
is really about, it seems like in Sag we're introducing that new story. Would you say so? Or
I would. I mean, we've got it up here on the screen, connecting to life purpose through belief structure re-evolution.
yeah,
And we are. And, Christopher, you and I haven't spoken about Sag up until, earlier today. I'm going to add something to this.
okay.
I think that this is where we actually start. I don't want to say start. We have finalized and we are now owning that we have rejected a narrative. We've rejected a narrative of where we thought our karma was taking us. We did that like part of 2023 and 2024. We are rejecting what the world narrative has said and what their belief system is. And so we are connecting to a new life purpose because the belief structure that we are rejecting is what we are ending up re evolutionizing, if you want to put it that way.
Mm,
And I think that it's going to enable us to believe about ourselves and what is possible in ways that we haven't been able to do before. It is it's a whole new connection to a whole different life purpose with a different belief structure
yeah,
that really literally went through an evolution over the
yeah.
past many years.
I agree 100%. I feel
Mhm.
so. Yes, I agree. On one point, part of Scorpio was I'm leaving you bastards. Like people took back their power for who's right, me or them. So I think a lot of people realize from a spiritual perspective, from a scientific research perspective, I mean, you can use whatever belief structure you want, but I think people own their own belief now, or at least no longer give the authority of belief the authority anymore. And I agree. I feel you're right. It's going to be inside a person. Part of the narrative change is that you have an updated purpose. It's either updated or it's brand new, and or it's back to what it was. In my case, it's like back to where I strayed from. You know what I
Mm,
mean? Like straight from through because of all of the karma and stuff, all the karma I have of like pleasing others, not myself, all that stuff that, I find myself off the path. I'm like, wait a second, how the hell I end up way over in Albuquerque, So I think in my case, it's like getting back to the purpose. In some cases, it's starting it for the first time, and other people, it's like doing the one I really wanted, like
hmm
when with the law school, want to be a musician kind of thing. And so I agree. We're and the belief structure revolution, as you said, I think is that I have to go with what I believe. I have
hmm
to go with what I believe. It doesn't matter what the science says or anything. It's like I can't live with myself after doing all that karma and facing all the pain and all the mistakes. I cannot go up to heaven and not have done what I believed. I just
hmm
cannot end this life and not having done it. Like, so whether I'm right or wrong, I'd rather be wrong. And it was my ideas that were wrong. You know what I mean? Like not following some other, jerk and realizing I was wrong to follow that.
hmm
Yeah. It's
And
pretty powerful.
and I'm going to add, because I'm kind of looking at the comments as you were talking. I know a lot of people are still feeling a lot of the effects and that type of thing. The image that comes up in my mind is that we have been putting together a road that we've been wanting to drive on, but we have been building that road while driving on the old one, and we have hit the transition step. So a bit
Mm,
like, when they decide to take an entire road or an interstate and redirect it, that
mhm.
you find, because the old asphalt feels a certain way, that new asphalt is different, and it sounds different in your car. You've been humming along with but now all of a sudden you're on that new road and it's and it takes a bit to get used to it. So we're going to feel this new rhythm for a while, and it's just going to take some time. And so for those, a lot of the people that I'm seeing in the comments who are talking about how it still doesn't feel comfortable, they still don't feel great, all that kind of stuff, it's going to take a bit for us to get used to the new asphalt that we're driving on, and how it feels and how it sounds in our mind and that type of thing.
Well, you'll be in the new timeline when you start to float above the road and there is no friction. But I think that's where we're headed, anyways. I think hover
Hmm
technology. But I feel, and I do recognize that. It reminds me, anytime I leave any state and go into Texas. So in the Texas, the Texas, so true growing up. And I feel it's right. By the way, I don't feel you'll be comfortable until a year from now. Really comfortable. Texas. See, a lot of ozone depletion over that state. But long story short, I feel like give it till May. I don't feel like the story will start to rock until May. I think you're going to get rocked in April. So we're preparing all our subscribers through a program to kind of be, master your self love by then, because I think April things get really bumpy, and I don't feel like we can call, to really define clearly that we're no longer in Kansas until about a year from now, next Scorpio.
Agree. And but for those of us who are trying to be more visionary and more future oriented, owning that we're there now is a big deal.
Oh, yes, that's absolutely true. You cannot say it better. For those who are leaders, you must play the role now.
Hmm
You must be what is coming. And
hmm
that's actually, I think the leaders doing that is what makes it come. I really do. I
hmm
think those who are ready, all the Jedis, like own it now. And so part of that owning it is telling the story. And part of telling the story, really, this as we open up the first chapter, it starts always with the story you tell yourself. The
Yeah.
story you tell yourself is the story. You tell yourself you're a victim, then you're a victim. You tell yourself you're a Jedi, then you're a Jedi. And it's like, but I can just say I'm a Jedi and I am? Yes. That's what we call Earth. It's imaginary come true. That's why we're here. And the a-holes have told you that's not possible. But you hopefully you learn to sniff those people out and not give them the credit over you. But so this first chapter, steps 3 through 9, I mean, we're talking really goes from, if you go all the way back, it starts already the Friday before. but
Hmm.
nothing happens over the weekend. Then we get to step 3 on Monday, which is Grandmaster step of believing in yourself. And I think believing in yourself this year comes down to, I believe I'm here for, right? I believe
Hmm.
I'm here for. And so the next question is, well, do you believe that? And the answer is, well, does your heart, step 1, feel it's true? If your heart feels it's true, then that's who you are. That's true to who you are. And so that litmus test is the one right there. Are you going to accept what your heart feels is true, or are you going to accept what your parents told you, or society told you, or your friends told you, or your abusive partner told you? That's the question. Who's the authority in the first place? That should have been established in Scorpio, but I think that gets tested in that first week, Robbie.
Hmm. I agree. The first week, we're calling it culminating truth and purpose, where we're believing in our transformation. But also, there's two things going on during this week that certainly helps with that culmination. And we're in the part of the year where planets are starting to go direct. So during this particular week, we have Saturn going direct at 25 Pisces, and Mercury finally comes out of its retrograde and it goes direct at 20 Scorpio. So two planets in water signs going direct and really just adding a whole lot of energy to how we feel. But now that Saturn going direct isn't coming back into Pisces. This is one of the things that I was talking about earlier,
Mhm.
is showing that done. So it's not coming back into Pisces for 29 years after it moves through here. And now Saturn going direct there in Scorpio at 20 degrees, this, oof, I feel everything kind of thing. So I think we can choose to feel that we are culminating truth and purpose, that we can choose to feel that we believe in this transformation. And I think then that helps us with the question. Christopher, you want to talk about the question?
Um, yeah, basically, how am I using my sovereignty? That's where I got messed up here. How am I using my sovereignty to expand faith in the news story? So sovereignty, by the way, is a term that we heard from Mary Magdalene on our site a while ago. She's been pushing it very strongly, and it's interesting to hear it come out from the spiritual realm of heaven. But the idea that you are your own spiritual God universe, that's the whole point. So are you, from the beginning, using that individuality of the I am, your own I am? Are you using your own I am to expand faith in the news story? Or are you coming from a place of, I need credit from the world to expand the news story? Because the difference is two different timelines completely, right? If you're
Mm-hmm.
not in a place that I'm the creator of my universe, then you, which is sovereignty in my opinion, then you will be constantly, taxed by the system. How do you look at sovereignty, Robbie?
Sovereignty to me is where I am unowned. To
Oh,
me, sovereignty is where I am my I'm my judge and jury. I am not obligated. It's that. It is sovereignty is rough to move into, and especially in today's world, because there's always someone who feels like they own a piece of you. And
well said. Hmm.
many of us have sold ourselves in that way.
Oh, lifetimes, and then we give it away out of habit, uh, and it turns into codependency and all this other stuff. From my understanding of consciousness is I am, God gave us exactly what he, she was.
Hmm.
Autonomy, sovereignty, your own universe. Sure, we're juniors at being God. We're juniors at creation, and we have to learn how to do it, the mistakes. But at the end of the day, I am who I am, and no one has a say in that unless I choose to invite you into that, which you should do very carefully. I've learned very
Well, and
carefully.
the idea of sovereignty, though, for us is still brand new because we have had a history and a consciousness. The church owned you,
Right,
or landlords. Okay, you were squatting on land that someone else owned. The government owned you.
right.
Somebody owned you, and so we're still unhooking. Even in our enlightened period of 2025, we're still unhooking from some of that. And there are tons of people who do not want you unhooking from that.
Oh, all of them. I mean, I think the most recent ploy has been medical sovereignty.
Oh
Telling you
yeah.
what don't right to choice, but here you must take these meds. Like no, sorry, my body, my choice.
Hmm.
So I think we've seen a huge invasion since COVID of medical sovereignty, where it's like, well, then you're going to die without insurance. It's like, what? Like I paid for you, like, so it's been interesting there. And my point is like, it just keeps reinventing itself. It's like,
Hmm.
oh, tied to the land, tied to this, tied to the medical system now, and so we'll see what's next, but nonetheless, I think people are wising up, waking up, realizing the power of numbers. And, Saturn station direct, Mercury station direct. I want to speak to that.
Hmm.
They're trining, so they are unified. Saturn's like, you got me, right? You know what I mean? Like, and to me, Mercury's like, my mind is from this perspective that what I feel is right is the only thing I'm going to consider. So the mind is saying only what I feel is right. That's what 20 is. So the mind's gone, you're dead to me, to all this other stuff. It's only this. So mind is hopefully focused and no longer possibly including a lot, right? Which the mind does. It's such wishy-washy, right? And then Saturn direct to 25. I mean, 25 is the grandmaster number of Pisces. And so this is a grand, and so it is like, this is a statement of like, this is the timeline change. That direct to me technically would be when the universe hits play, like, play on the tape or whatever. VCR for all you oldies out there, play, forward arrow for all you youngins. That is the moment. And that what is in play at that point on November 27th is the new spiritual timeline, which in my opinion is the second goal you had coming down to earth this lifetime. Second goal.
I double dog dare you on Thursday, November 27th, when you do the pep talk, to use an echo effect
Oh,
and
that'd
do
be
the
cool.
whole Saturn direct of, and so it is.
That's so true. Yeah, just the waves of the universe. And so it is. Yeah. Oh, I have to. That'd be fun. So
Hmm.
then we have wrapping up this week. We have one more thing, right? Well, we didn't talk about Venus opposite and retrograde Taurus on both sides. Does that happen on
Hmm.
the 29th also? Opposed to Uranus. Venus opposed to
Hmm.
Uranus.
Hmm.
Venus opposed to Uranus. So interesting enough here, Uranus is back in Taurus, which is awesome for us Tauruses because we have the power now. We're taking the power pellet. We're a big Pac-Man. And it means that all of our plans to manifest are up in the air. I don't care what you plan. I don't care what the blueprints are. I don't care how beautiful it's going to be. We'll see, right? That's the big thing. Do you happen to know how far Uranus goes in Taurus? It's just,
20 to 27.
oh, wow. Yeah, okay. So that means so we're going to reconsider all construction projects of anything, whether you're going to build a business or a home or a family or anything, is under reconsideration until it hits that 27. And then at that point goes direct. At that point, we have new execution plans for what we're going to build. So everything is on question mark, I would say. And with Venus opposing that, on November 29th, it's like we accept and receive the boundaries necessary to keep it all open ticket. So basically saying Venus is saying, okay, keep the tickets open, no closures of the zero until we have figured this out. I feel is what that is. And then Venus goes, okay, bye. I'm going to Sag to party.
Hmm.
She goes in to go to a rave or something. Yeah.
Well, and Venus, we'll talk about Venus going into Sag for the next week because that's technically when she does that. But to Uranus, talking about that's another one that once Uranus goes direct, later on, not during Sag, of course, but once it goes direct, that's another one of those. And so it is because Uranus won't be there for another 84 years.
Oh, yeah.
So, these outer planets ain't playing right now.
No, not at all. And, I'll tell you right now, the AI ethical questions will be answered before Uranus leaves Taurus. So the value statements behind the tech change, the tech change is Gemini. The values that you're aiming for is Taurus. And so I feel like we will set the values, here before Uranus enters into Gemini for good. This is it. So if any of you are advocates for AI, efficacy and all this, do it now, do it now, do it now. It's got to be said now. It's got to be, and sometimes just saying it now is enough because there's enough of an echo. Once Uranus and Gemini, I'm like, well, we've had a lot of people not like this. You have enough momentum built. So, put your feet down about what you think should be the values of AI.
So, what do you think about even outside of AI, the values for a lot of these things that we're shifting? So, the whole medical sovereignty thing that we were talking about,
Yep.
the values in our own local government, the values and the things that are most important to us. I guess maybe extend that and say
Yeah.
it's the value to everything that we say we want to hang our future on. given that Uranus won't be back to that place for 84 years.
No, and honestly, you can say easily that the values of current time were set in World War II. Right before, that it's
Mm-hmm.
okay to invade a nation if someone's being bad. It's okay, to get rid of a whole race if you don't like them. And
Mm-hmm.
they won. No, no. We see the same type of race killing right now in active wars right now, trying to
Yeah.
race kill. So I don't care what you want to call it. So, anyways, yes, we have to set those. We have to set those ethics for everything. Medical sovereignty is one of them. I think sovereignty is the word.
Mm-hmm.
Treat each individual as their own nation, and be as diplomatic to each person as you would a nation, and you've got it, right? We'll see, though.
Mm-hmm.
Then it starts to be wordplay and all sorts of confusion. Because once Uranus stays in Gemini, boy, I'll tell you, I felt Uranus go back into Taurus, and I was so grateful because the scattered like, came down again. I was like, oh, shit, that popcorn energy was Uranus in Gemini. Criminy, which is the majority of World War II was Uranus in Gemini, which explains, the Newsies that came out. That was new. People want to see Newsies, also things like that. So yeah, this first week is I think that's a good wrap on it. I think
Yeah.
you want to take us to the big two, buddy.
Well, all right. You want to go over and let's head to step 2 here, chapter 2, week 2, and I'll take it. So, week 2, what we are doing, waking up to new potential, and by waking up, what we mean is just actually starting to have it in your daily routine, being more aware of it, not walking away from it, claiming it, doing all of that kind of stuff. But you're doing it for the purpose to connect and aim to the heart's true purpose. Now, look, we've been talking about your heart and your heart's purpose and all that kind of stuff for a number of years. And we keep going back to it because this has been a whole series of course corrections. All right. When you are using your heart's purpose as a northern star, you are going to do a bit of this because we get so involved with our heart at this very big general level, but then it ends up becoming more focused, more internalized, more externalized, the more that focus gets. So we're still doing more about just getting into what that true purpose is all about. And let's just look at a couple of things that go on during this week. Now, we do have a full moon. Christopher and I will discuss that in just a few minutes. But let me just talk about the primary things that are guiding this week and why we are saying waking up to this new potential. First is Venus. Venus going into Sag. She does that on Sunday, November 30th.
Mm.
And 2 days after that, then Uranus moves to 28 degrees Taurus. It moves from that tested 29 to a Grandmaster Taurus degree.
Mm.
And it does that not too long after Venus moves into Sag. And I like how this is reiterating, Christopher, that whole thing that you were talking about with the values earlier. And then there's one other thing that happens, and that's Pluto going to 2 degrees Aquarius. And it's going to do that after the full moon. And we'll talk about that in relation to the full moon. But during this week, there is just this emphasis on value. And that's what the new potential is. Because the new potential says, I'm seeing things that matter. I'm seeing things that build. I'm seeing things that root, which is all Taurus. Taurus builds. Taurus puts roots down. Taurus makes sure that all of the elements that are necessary for those seedlings to work, Taurus does that.
Mm-hmm.
And when Uranus moves to that 28 Grandmaster Taurus degree, this is because it's retrograde. No, I'm not taking that job because it devalues me. I'm not going to be talked to that way because it devalues me. And that's what the whole waking up to the new potential is. So, Christopher, your thoughts before we go over the full moon that occurs during that week.
Well, I can translate this into fluent Taurus, which I do speak. So, no, I will not do this is translated as and I will not pay these taxes. Okay, that is the translation, I think, of the moo. We Tauruses get to that point where we're like, this hurt. I've gone on with the pain for a little too long, and I'm done with this. That's what's the most. We either because we're eating good food or because we're pissed. Those are two moves possible. I feel, first of all, the value statement, I think to some degree, Tauruses have been taken off our path, because we're not good at the zero. So I think to some degree, the builders of the world got distracted. All builders of the world got distracted. Like everyone got distracted. That was the whole point, was to distract us. And so I feel a lot of Tauruses, if you know their story, they're coming into focus again about what they value. So suddenly your contractor won't build it for you. Okay, like, no, not gonna do it. You build it. Like, you do it. You think you're so smart. So there's that. But I also feel at the same time, I feel like everything we've been through in the closure of our karma has come wisdom. And part of what Sag is going to be is the culmination of wisdom, that we are now wise. Like, oh, you got to wait that for the first century, but you're not going to wait that for another. Like, and so in that wisdom, that 28 Taurus is where we, upon our wisdom, upon our learning, and part of what we've learned, I'm going to sharpen now the feeling I'm committed to, because that's what 28 is. I'm committed to this feeling. And committed to this feeling means no other. So it says by default what will be cut out. And that was I believe 28 Taurus was Unite the Light year 1. The Sun
Mm-hmm.
28 Taurus. So to some degree, I think we're seeing the effects of that Sun Jupiter conjunction. 2 years ago. I think
Mm-hmm.
Uranus is bringing into reality the vision we saw at Unite the Light 1 and felt Unite the Light 1. That vision comes into focus finally, and that's how slow Taurus is. Oh yeah, give me 2 years. We'll get it to you. So those are my comments on it. So there is new potential. And once you get into that decision and go, okay, I'm going to do it. As soon as you get that decision and you cut out, because zero says you cut everything else out, God doesn't let you manifest everything at once, right? So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
cut other stuff out. Then suddenly like, oh, now that I'm in here, oh my God, like there's so much more you could not have seen until you made that commitment. And the universe does it all the time. Like, we're not going to even know what's in here. All you know is there's a door, you can't come through. So
Mm-hmm.
once you get in, then it's like, holy moly, you start putting things together. You start to realize, whoa, this is a much better structure than I had before. So you have to have that, divine passage of faith and all that stuff that we're talking about. And you see this new purpose. And that's the heart's true purpose. That's the thing, not the mind. People get confused, the mind's like, it'd be great to win the lottery. Why? What would you spend it on? Because that's what you want to manifest, what you would spend it on. So a lot of us just got caught up in like the hows and not the whats. That's how I'll close this comments on this. So I think we aim for our mind's plan for the future. It's like the mind has no business in business. The business of earth is all handled in love. So I feel like it's also putting the authority of your heart in place, which is all those 1 degrees self-love of all this whole year. Uranus is step 1, Saturn is step 1, Neptune is step 1, everything is step 1. Like if you don't get it, there's one clear message of 2025. It's been love yourself first.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that it has. Which then leads us into why we chose the question that we did. And the question is, am I focusing on my potential?
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm focusing on what someone else said about it, or I'm focusing on what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And, focusing on potential also means investing, which is what Taurus does. Taurus invest. And so, okay, maybe I'm not that, astrologer that I want to be, but I'm going to continue to study. I'm going to continue to do readings to get better at it. I'm going to continue because I'm focusing on that potential. And my heart has been showing me where that is. My heart has been doing the course correction of it. And so it really becomes down to, wow, I'm enjoying doing this. I'm getting feedback that I'm good with it. I'm just going to keep focusing on that, and not what the world is saying, which is part of why we talk about the sovereignty at the beginning, and part of why I made the comment that we're rejecting narratives. We are rejecting narratives that say you're supposed to do this, you're supposed to do that. No, no, and hell no. I'm focusing on this. And isn't that the stages of a Taurus, Christopher? No, hell no.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's what we learned in Scorpio. I mean, zeros, first of all, a Taurus is step 10. So we don't even get started until we say no to your ideas of heart, no to what you're telling me, making me feel, no the way you're making me believe, no the way we separate ourselves from reality like everyone else does, frankly. And then we finally get to, I love this, boom. And that's what you're going to work with. That's the contract. So, and Taurus is the only sign that goes through two states awareness twice. It's like, if you notice that, pay attention to that. It's like, Sun in Taurus, our first house is about manifestation. Then we go to Gemini, another month of manifestation. It's always 2 months for us. So it's always double the time and double the space in order to manifest as a Taurus. So it takes us, that's why we're slow, but I agree 100%. And it is all about hell no. And here's the thing. And that's what I'm teaching at Sirius Joy. It's like you can put your time on what could go wrong and prevention, or you can put your time on what will go right. But you only got so much time. So you're going to spend your whole life focusing on what could go wrong, like preventing, or you can spend your whole life on creating. And you can create with the intention of the prevention. So that's the thing. You can create with the intention of prevention, or you can sit there whining about the preventions, worrying about putting your time on the people who don't like you and all this. Again, prevention. It's like boring job to me. I want to get on what creates with the intention of prevention, and therefore you're getting 2 for 1 in your energy. So here's the thing. We're going to go through a rapid growth here. If you are slowed down by paying attention to anything but what you want, you won't find yourself in the lead. And it's like, well, I don't have to be in the lead. Yes, you do, because it's going to grow so fast, you'll be outnumbered. There are some periods in time where if you didn't have a yahoo.com at that time, you ain't nothing, right? You could no way compete with Google or whatnot. And that's interesting to think about too, because I think they're going to go through a little bit of an issue with Uranus and Gemini. So I agree. If that's a long story short, but yeah. So focusing on your potential means you don't focus on anything else.
Right. Else. And you stay true to it, which is also a Taurus attribute, right?
Or heart.
So why don't we take a look at...
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Finish your sentence. I'm sorry.
No, I just mean, I kind of think I look at this whole period as like the forefathers of the United States. Mm-hmm. And there should be 4 mothers in there, and there were, they just weren't named. So I'm sorry, ladies, this time we'll get your name in there. But it's like, but at that time, it was crazy cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs to think that you would even go against Great Britain, that you would say that you're, and Great Britain looked down on us. They judged us with their Capricornian energy, like these peasants that we, went over there to farm our new land. And so the forefathers, like, to win that race, you just had to be focused on one thing. It will be. Mm-hmm. And really it comes down to a race of who can hold the intent despite evidence. So you have to hold the intent despite the evidence, despite the news, despite the way it looks like, despite what people are saying, all of that. Because at the end of the day, most people just don't have the energy to keep up, right? Yeah. And they're also lazy. So that's good. You know what I mean? Like, and unmotivated, and don't have these inner convictions. So those who are most intent will win. You can look at that in Hollywood. It's like, well, a lot of the people who are famous are not that great of actors because they were more diligent and they focused harder, right? That's how you end up in a position of celebrity without talent, because you showed up on time. So there you go. So I think it's time for us to show up on time and focus on the potential and nothing else.
Yeah, totally agree. Absolutely. Let's look at the full moon, because this full moon at 13 degrees is also something that I think can help everyone if they're feeling a little stuck. So this full moon, let me get my notes in front of me. Mm-hmm. This was on Thursday, December 4th. It's going to be at 13 degrees. And Christopher, this is full moon number 2 of 4 that will be at 13 degrees. Isn't that interesting? 4 Aquarius ruled that are at 13, also Aquarius ruled. And so this one here, though, when you look at it, it's not just that sun-moon opposition at 13. Notice that the nodes are also at 13 on that day. And Chiron in a quincunx with Mercury at 22 degrees. So I think if there is anything that is in our mind and in our belief system that is just starting a little bit to get us off course, that this is a day of course correction if you use it. And, it's not only Chiron and Mercury at 22, it's Mars at 22.
I was going to say, yeah, we don't see Mars. But yeah, you have, we didn't say Mars, but Mars is there too. So look, guys, if you are a skeptic of step astrology, look at this day. Okay. You think it's an accident that everything adds to a 4? The nodes, right? The nodes add to the 4. Excuse me. The North Node at Pisces. So what this means is follow your beliefs. 13 is follow your beliefs. When my heart, step 1, believes what my heart believes. The United States is born on step 13 Cancer. what my heart believes, right? And so at that end of the day, all souls are created equal. If we rewrite it now, that, and that kind of preamble of rights and the way things should be. This is that moment where I feel like this is kind of to me, this full moon it's in Gemini. So ultimately it's our thoughts, our feelings, our conversation, our posts, our tweets. That's where it comes down to. That's where the battle is intellectual. The battle will be of the mind, by the way, because we are prisoners of the mind, if you don't know. And that's what has happened. We become prisoners of the mind. And so I think that full moon is like, where we just suddenly go, I'm breaking out of, these chains I put myself in my own mind. I'm breaking out these chains that my mind's allowed myself to talk myself into. That's ultimately it. But what's cool is like, the sun over here is the heart. So the heart is then swayed. Your heart's like, huh? Well, I've been going with what's safe. I've been going with I've been going with what General Mills says. I've been going with what IBM says. I've been going with all these other people say. I think I'm going to go with what I think. So the heart has a change of heart, and that's what a full moon does. It always changes the heart. The heart changes, but then the other parts either go hell yeah. Your mind's like hell yeah, right? And the mind will be at a place of 22, which is a different 4. To me, the mind at 22 is saying, I feel this way and I feel this way. And that means I belong that way. Like, it's like I got 2 choices. I'm taking the third unpublished choice in some cases. So the mind takes, and by the way, the mind gives yourself permission at that point to rewrite the map, because the top of Scorpio is the map. Like, fuck this. It's actually this. This is the country. This is the town. This is the town. This is the business size. So you redraw it. Black women live there, by the way. Are you sure? It's like, it might be a problem. They're going to get, they're not going to like you. Shut up. And then Mars, the ego, is like really ready to go to war, because Mars is always ready to go to war. But Mars is ready to push. And the push here is, against the galactic center of the 5-degree orb. So that means basically influencing the mind and align with the mind, saying, that's going to change the whole universe. Like we're going to change the whole damn universe with the galactic center. And of course, galactic center is, and so it is. And this is what drives me. I'm just like, can you believe this? Chiron at 22.
Oh,
This is in my opinion. Go ahead. You say first.
No, let me speak to that real quick.
Yeah, go ahead. No, please.
The day before this full moon, well, I guess a 22, yeah. So look, the day before this full moon, the nodes moved to 13 and Chiron to 22. So I'm going to piggyback on something you said earlier. If you doubt this step system, when you're working with it the way that you and I do, and you just look at what happens before and after these moon events, so these fated elements of the nodes and Chiron go to these Aquarius ruled degrees. And Chiron's only going to retrograde back to 22. So once it does come forward, comes direct, and then hits 23, it won't be back to 22 for 48 years. So,
wow.
This is, and we've got 4 of these 13-degree full moons. So look, between that and everything else, the universe is screaming here, especially with that opposition of Uranus and Black Moon Lilith. Don't go to the fear. If a fear comes up, it's coming up to be addressed, to be healed, to be conquered. Do not go into it.
Yeah, right.
Don't go there.
Well, that's very interesting. This opposition is really incredible, because what 22 says ultimately is the third option.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's the third option, right?
Mm-hmm.
You want to explain? When you giggled, so you tell us what that means.
Well, so 22 doesn't matter what sign it's in, doesn't matter what planet it's attached to. 22 is at least in terms of how I have experienced and how the people I've done readings for who have something at 22. 22 is a place where you've got a mature feeling that is breaking down the other. And that's the third option, is that I don't have to feel this way despite the circumstance, but it happens in breaking it down. And the analogy I've given is you're taking boxes, cardboard boxes, to the recycling center. It's too big to get it in the car. So what do? We take our little knives or whatever, and we break it down so that we've got it into one flat thing. Now it goes in the back of the pickup truck, the back of the SUV. We get it to the recycling center, a transformation. Okay, we took that box, we broke it down. Now it's into something manageable. Now I'm taking it somewhere where it can be transformed. So,
Yes.
and it being Chiron and Aries, where our ego screwed us up.
Right. I think,
Our,
yeah, that's what I was going to say. I say this is the memory of the time when we did this before and we lost.
yep.
I fought the law and the law won. Damn it. And so no one on earth has any experience with winning except the
Hmm.
conqueror assholes. Only the assholes. So if you even remember, if you have memory of winning in the past life, you were the asshole. Okay.
Hmm.
Because only the assholes have won. With all due respect to the word asshole. But the point is to me, the third option is, are you Republican or Democrat? I'm an independent. Is that an
Right.
independent party? No, it's independent non-party. Like now
Hmm.
that's quantum. It's like, not only am I not a party, not only am I not either of you two, I'm not even a party. Okay. I'm a sovereign person that votes. Is that type of, usurp the whole, get all your hands off me kind of, I think, solution that is the age of Aquarius. It's the premise of the new independence. Like I said, the Constitution is written today, all souls are created equal.
Hmm.
Period. It's like we get to the soul level. We get to the core of who we are in essence. So yeah, this is a revolutionary moment. It'll probably happen, 6:14 p.m. on December 4th, a Thursday, probably while you're eating dinner. And I have this moment like, it's like the universe is going to flash your iris of through your iris, and you're going to realize, oh my God, it's more of a realization than anything. But it's a realization, I'll tell you this, about day-to-day life. So you're
Hmm.
probably going to realize where you belong in day-to-day life, which will then, of course, ripple effect into the future, okay, which is the 22s. The 22 is the future. It's always the future. It's never now. You're feeling the conflict now about the future, like future for my grandkids, the future for this earth, the future of this country, future of my legacy, future of my brand, whatever. It's that future that changes suddenly, because once if with my heart believes, that means I'm going to take the third option with step 22, which is all these futures. And then I think Jupiter here at 24 is interesting because what is this going? I got to get back to feeling good.
Hmm.
24 Cancer is like, just that is the vacation degree, right? Like where you just I feel too where I belong. I feel I belong in this country. I feel I belong in this family. I feel I belong in this company. I feel I belong here. I feel this is where my tribe is. So we're, retrograding. We're reconsidering what emotions we aim for. And this is really creating the third two is what this is doing. This is generating the third two.
Oh, I'm glad that you're bringing up feelings because you want to know about something else on this one that'll blow your Taurus mind there, Christopher.
Blow it.
All right, that Pluto is up there at 1 degree. This is
Oh,
the
you go
last
to 2 to 1.
planet. This is the last outer planet at 1 degree. The day after this Pluto goes to 2 degrees, it won't be back to 1 degree for 248 years.
Wow.
Love where you belong. Claim where you belong, even if that place hasn't been created yet. I belong being an astrologer who does it with a surfboard. I mean, whatever it is, this is if you're feeling it with Jupiter there in Cancer, own that that's where you belong, even if it hasn't been created, because once Pluto gets to 2, that's all of the outer planets being done with that 1 degree for a bit.
Hmm.
Now, now
It's almost like Pluto
Neptune
goes off.
and
It's
you,
like a war scene. Pluto's like goes off and sacrifices himself for the world in the name of self-love. Just like kills himself. Like that final battle moment. Because this is the final
yes,
moment of Pluto 1, the final one, right?
yeah.
Oh my
And
God.
look, Uranus and Neptune will be back at 1 degree
Yeah.
next year, but not in that whole 1 degree arrangement we had in Leo.
Well,
And
Pluto's the
so,
bottom line.
yeah. So,
No reality can be created without self-love included. Period.
but it's also the power. I mean, Pluto is power, so it's the power of it as well.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you have a bad cement foundation to a house, it's coming down.
Yeah.
It'll eventually come down. You may think you built it. If you didn't build on self-love, that house is coming down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, wow. But like we always say, you can't make this stuff up.
No, it's amazing. And I love, here's our prenatal solar eclipse that happened
Mm-hmm.
at 29. So we had that solar eclipse earlier in the year saying, okay, hold space for this, a whole new world. Hold space for this, a whole new spiritual path. So this opposition, this is a silent opposition because this is created in the hearts of people, and the people hold the actual energy, not the planet. So solar eclipse is affected by multiple people, but human beings are holding this 29 against this Neptune 29. And by the way, 29 means anything's possible. So
Mm-hmm.
we could create a pink sky if we wanted to. I mean, just give Bill Gates more power. I'm sure he'll do it. But at the end of the day, we can do anything. It's really a 29. So this is from reality to what was planted in the hearts of men and women. We can do anything, and that's a rarity too. This is from Christ consciousness to become the I become of Christ, which is creation Christ energy, by the way, not Catholic Church. So I find it fascinating, and this is interesting too. I think Venus at 5, we're opening up to this new way of thinking about yourself.
Yeah.
I am a superhero. I am a this. I am the answer to this particular problem, or I am the one Spirit's counting on. And is that too big for your britches? No, no one else wants that but you. Like people like,
Mm-hmm.
so let's stop thinking about whether or not the world likes it or not. They
Oh
won't find
yeah.
out till they see it. So stop. Yeah,
Because sovereign doesn't consult others.
correct. Yeah, yeah,
Because sovereign knows from a deeper knowing,
yes.
which is what all of this is about.
And if you're a leader and you feel like you're a leader, no one is going to approve your shit until they see it.
Mm-hmm.
Even then, they won't approve. They'll probably disapprove, mostly based on their own not wanting to agree,
Mm-hmm.
not wanting to change themselves. So, this idea that we have to prove anything in the world is not true. The only thing you're in concert or contest with is yourself yesterday. And
Yeah.
that's the truth of reality. So I'm excited about this. I wonder what's going to happen. I have said that, this particular week from this moment to what's her name's birthday. I can't remember the big singer is born on step 21. Let me think.
Oh, Taylor Swift.
Yeah, from 13 to Taylor Swift's birthday, I think it's gonna be crazy stuff unfolding.
Mm-hmm.
Including with Swift. She's probably pregnant. That's what I'm gonna predict. But at the end of the day, there's crazy stuff unfolding. I think on the earth as far as ideas just blowing your mind. And of course, I have to say, whether you like him or not, President Trump is a 22 Gemini, the
Mm-hmm.
next disruptor. He's been disrupting at 22 the whole time. He's disrupting. And what do you ever think of him? Like, obviously, his job is to train wreck everything, to disrupt, to throw things in the air. So I think it's interesting that we have a 13. I wonder where his energy will be and where the country will be, given that he's like the next level of that. And then, by the way, I don't care what's happened in the past. It's in the past. That's what
Yeah.
Carmen's helping us heal is like, it doesn't matter. But I'm the one that burned the school down. Who cares? It doesn't matter, only thing we make, if you make it matter, then it matters. If you don't make it matter, it doesn't matter. I think that's
Well, and
yeah,
whatever matters to you, it creates matter. It creates the physical.
100%. Yeah, I completely agree. So I think this is a turning of event. This is sort of where this is the moment, Thursday, December 4th, where the hero looks up with a spark in their eye, like,
Mm.
for those who are untouched, you'll see opportunity, only opportunity. If you see loss, you're not on it. You don't see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's all we need to say about this one.
I think that's all we need to say about this week. You want to go ahead and take the next week 3?
Sure. So the new spiritual story. So again, after that moment that we just described with the full moon, we realize I'm not here to make cereal. I'm not here to cut hair. I'm not here, whatever it is. I'm here. You're in my heart. Step 1, believe. Step 3, that I belong. Blah blah blah. And so now a new story is born. This is a new story. Is it a sequel? No. It's a new franchise. It's a whole new franchise. It's a whole new film set. Forget what you've ever seen before. It's time to reinvent the earth from ground zero. Okay. Most things we have been built online, all sorts of different things. Power corruption, people having their fingers wanting control. Blah. We got to pretty much start over. I'm not talking about down to Mel Gibson in the desert after a third nuclear war. I'm talking about that we just look at everything fresh and go, what's the best way to build this going forward? So we start to write the script. That's the new spiritual story. We start to write the script in Sagittarius. We hire the producer in Capricorn. We cast it in Aquarius. We fine tune it in Pisces, and we're shooting in April. That's basically how this is going to unfold, in my opinion. And in order to do this, we must become one with our value. I am worthy, period. There's no second guessing of that at all. And just wait if anyone stops you. That's how everyone has power. They just take it until someone says no. Now, they should not take it by taking it from someone else. Don't take it. You don't have to step on people. You don't have to climb over people. You don't have to hurt people. If you're doing those methods, you're an amateur. Okay, because the universe will create it for you, all the space, people, and the support that you need. But you must be one with your value. There can be no question as to whether or not you deserve it. None. You should know in your heart. and you hold that space. So we become one with our value, which then supercharges our magnetic potential and law of attraction potential. The meters go up. We go from step 17 to step 23. 17 is what I have to commit to now in order to get to the vision I have for the future, 23. So we go from what I have to commit to now to get to that vision is the arc of this particular week. And, one, amazing thing is December 10th, Neptune stations direct at 29 Pisces. So
Mm-hmm.
to me, that's like a real, how do we put this? All I can think is the music that would be going on. Like I'm not there to, orchestral, like huge, like, angels singing. This is a moment it's like, hallelujah. That's hallelujah. That's a hallelujah moment, actually. So Neptune goes, hallelujah, hallelujah. So this is where suddenly miracles are happening indirect. Now we're going forward. And 29 is that I'm responding to what I feel. Responding to what I feel means that I'm not thinking. I'm not focused on the not. I am focused on how I feel, respond. How I feel, respond. Similar to an Olympic ice skater or similar to a musician on stage. There's no thinking. It's only perform. And the performance is from what you feel, from what you feel, from what you feel, until I feel like I'm in integrity. I feel like this is good, and I can feel that I'm good. That's the 3-stack of step 29. And then, of course, Mercury in Scorpio opposes Uranus, which is interesting. So the mind then reframes all the space. So Scorpio is a space, it's the 0, and Taurus is the 10. So what happens is the mind reinvents the 0 in the 10. That 0, how big that 0 is in the 10, gets changed in size with the mind. So the mind's like, I thought we needed a house. We need a city block, or it's like, this isn't a city block. This is more like a house. So we change the space with our mind, and this is interesting. And then as we go through the week, basically on December 11th, we have Venus and Sag squares the North Node at 13 Pisces. So Venus, which is opening up to this new story, ingesting this new story. Okay, well, if that means this and that means this is going to happen, that means that's going to happen. So we just start leading to that tree of knowledge. You start branching off on what this means with Venus and Sag. But squaring the node at 13 Pisces goes, okay, hold on. Is the story you're telling yourself a revolution like your spirit? Is your soul also in a revolution? Is this the first time your soul is going to take responsibility? Is this the first time if it's not the first time your soul has, may need a rewrite. The script is off. So those squares are just sort of like checking against, whether or not it's in alignment with the soul's purpose. And you find those squares a lot. So there might be some rewrites, there might be some, changes and things. Then Mercury goes into Sag, which is like, let's do it. At that point, your mind is finally no longer arguing, I would say, with what is and what isn't. And then, Mars and Sag will square Neptune. So again, Mars and Sag, which is pushing the narrative at 29, going, okay, let's do this. When you go into Capricorn, which is like, let's sign the deal, let's do the contract. But Neptune's like, it better be this. It better be, the best nation in the world, the shining example of what can be. It better be like, the new Atlantis. It's got to be something incredible beyond spiritual words if you're going to jump ego. Otherwise, don't bother. We could look at it also like saying, spirit is saying, making sure that ego knows who the boss is, spirit, right? So that's a sort of an ego check. So if you get ego checked on December 14th, you needed it. Robbie?
Oh, I'm listening. You were just catching me into the story there, all compelling and everything.
Good.
All right. I want to talk about Neptune going direct.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Because it goes direct at 29 degrees, 22 minutes.
Wow.
29 degrees, 22 minutes, where the week prior we had all this 22 related energy. And this is another one of those now outer planet things that's massive because, Neptune has an orbit of 165 years. It's not going to come back to this place. But now it is going forward on the most tested degree of the Zodiac, 29 Pisces.
Mm.
And so, look, let's just really bottom line a couple of things here. This is no bullshit.
Mm.
Okay, this is a no bullshit Sag time. And so the big thing about Sag is the optimism of it. Now, sometimes Sagittarius misappropriates that optimism. Oh, there's a train coming toward me. Well, at least it's pretty. At least it's new as it runs me over. So sometimes Sag can misappropriate enthusiasm, but this ain't the time. And this is a whole new level of enthusiasm and optimism as the world around you, because of the choices of a lot of people who we love and care about, it's raining down. They're living in that timeline where it's raining down, and we're here witnessing it. Not to be a part of it, not to live in it, but because it is helping complete a part of our story. It's completing a part of recognizing that we escape that. And so Neptune going to 29, and going direct there, this is a big push. And do you have the faith in it? And I think that once Neptune gets to 29, a lot of our faith will be tested. But it's not tested because it's wrong. It's tested because you don't know how much weight you can pick up until you go pick up the weight. I wonder can I pick up a 25-pound weight? You pick it up. Oh, no. Wait a minute. 15? 15. That's good. That's good. So it isn't testing to tell you that you're right or you're wrong. It's to give you context. It's to give you perspective, because those are things that Sagittarius rules. The fact that Neptune is going direct during Sag, not during Scorpio, it's doing it during it's doing it during Sag. So it's to remind us that perspective is a lot. Perspective is everything that Sag is about. And it's honoring that you have a perspective. Christopher's lived a life I've never lived. I've lived one that he hasn't. So I'm going to honor his perspective. I don't have to agree with it, but I'm going to honor it. I'm going to honor my perspective. And that is a huge part of sovereignty.
Yeah.
Sovereignty I don't need Christopher's perspective, but I need to know that he's got one. And to maybe understand it would be a really good thing, because then people would understand mine. So it's moving into a whole new, even understanding of what sovereignty is. We have been told sovereignty means the day you pay off the mortgage, or the day that the car is paid for, or you finally retired. No, sovereignty is a whole different ballgame. And this happening in Sag, to me, just is huge about what we can do with when we finally realize that sovereignty also is a God universe principle, that being Neptune. There we go. Reverend Robbie Dunn.
All right. Praise.
Praise.
The Rock Roll Gospel chorus, and let's do it. That's good. Yeah. That's what it feels like. I agree. I completely agree. I feel, I was thinking when you said the 29 Pisces, I was like, when did Lincoln say a full score and 7 years ago? Like that speech. When was that? I wonder if it was
Gettysburg Address, huh?
Yeah, I'm the step 29. Like that was a 29 Pisces moment right there. So it's that you must believe what you can feel. You must have faith in what you feel. You must act on what you feel. You must act and have faith in what you feel, not in anything what you see. Now, do you think God created the universe seeing it first? It always starts as a feeling and then it turns into something. And I feel like we have to move forward according to how we feel in our soul with the pre-intention of 11. And I'll just say right now, we talked about in the intro to Step Astrology what the minutes are. 22 minutes means that was the spiritual deal with heaven. So the minutes tell us the deal with heaven. That's the deal with heaven. We made a contract. The contract was you feel what we feel. Heaven is going to hold what it feels, and we're going to belong according to how we feel and how heaven feels to a new belonging. The universe is going to go to a new belonging in our minuet. We're going to dance this new dance based on mutual belonging of heaven and earth. And so it is. It is a gravitational quantum moment there. Also, 22 means it's quantum. This is quantum. Quantum means, and you might be sitting there talking to him, and then suddenly he turns into a daisy. You know, it's like anything can happen randomly that you would never have guessed. So let's not assume anything about anything other than the now, right? Did I hear it
Well,
right? Yeah.
and look to everything you're just saying. Let me just add to this real quick. We are recording this on November 19th, and you ask about the Gettysburg Address was November 19th,
Whoa!
1863.
Whoa!
And so
Wow, that was
I'm
random.
hold
Random.
on. 18 that was 162 years ago.
Wow.
And when you look at November 19th of 1863, that was done when Pluto was at 11 Taurus and
Integrity of
Sun
yourself.
conjunct the North Node at 27 Scorpio. Oh,
Oh my
wait a minute.
God! It was literally on the step number of today.
And
Wow. Oh my God. I
wait
think
a minute,
Lincoln just spoke for me.
that
Wow.
Pluto at 11 opposing an 11-degree Mars in Scorpio.
Huh.
And Mars and Pluto are octaves of each other.
Yep.
The at that time, now here, at that
Wow.
time, 1863, Mars was the ruler of Scorpio,
Yep.
not Pluto.
Yep.
They didn't even know about Pluto.
hmm And
And
so
so
it is.
those two together at 11 degrees opposing each other. Oh, and depending upon when that thing occurred, Venus could have been at 11. 11 Libra.
Oh my God. Integrity of human relationships. That's slavery. 11 is anti-slavery. I mean,
Yeah.
you would not be a slave if you had Venus 11 Libra. You'd be this equal kind of partnership kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Integrity. Integrity versus sovereignty.
So wow, the fact that you brought that up
I
and
came through my psychic door. Yeah.
yeah.
That's interesting. My higher
And
self was pitching me that one.
whew, whew,
Well, folks,
whew.
you just saw it. That was a witness actually of how everything works in the universe right there. Right there. And with our team, and with Robbie, it is all synchronicity and living your spirit in the moment. That was amazing. Wow. Yeah, because it came into my head 7 years ago. I don't know why it came into my head. Something whispered it to me, I'll tell you.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought about, wow, yeah, that was one of his best speeches. I should look that up. And mine's like, oh, I should look that up, So fascinating. Wow. So that's kind of it. I mean, that's sort of a dramatic moment inside ourselves where we realize the history is changing. And perhaps it's a herstory instead of a history. Do you have anything else to say with this chapter? Should we move on to the next one, or do you want to say something
Just
else? You were talking about you were actually going over your side. So do you have something else besides Neptune to speak on, Venus? Or?
no, I think just the other thing is that the question: do I believe my dreams can come true? I mean,
Yeah,
that's a basic question, and at this point, it seems kind of basic that we would be asking ourselves that, but we will. And that's part of the testing of that Neptune at 29. And it's just, it's not a testing. I gotta change the word on that. It's a reiteration. It's a reiteration of how you feel and acting on how you feel.
it's a flight
You know,
test. I mean, when I look at testing, I look at a flight test. Like,
good way
are
of
you going
putting
to go
it.
up in one of Tesla's spaceships to Mars? I don't know. You better find that thing. I've seen that thing blow up 10 times now on film. It needs a test flight, and I ain't a test pilot. You have to test it to see if it's going to work or blow up. And so 29s do force a test to see if it's working. And if it's not working, back to the drawing board, not a problem. How many light bulbs before it takes for Edison to steal the right patent? It's like at that time, you just keep trying until you find the one that works, right?
But it's funny that you're talking about Tesla and those things blowing up. They don't call them blowing up. They call them rapid. Oh, um, um, and it's disassembly. Rapid disassembly,
That's
I
funny.
think is what they
Right.
call it, or
Reminds
something
me of
related to that.
a Simpsons joke where it's like Mr. Burns like, we don't call him a meltdown, we call it an unrequested, fusion surplus. Remember that from Simpsons? Oh,
Rapid unscheduled disassembly, my beloved says.
oh, that's funny.
Rapid unscheduled disassembly.
Unscheduled, yeah. That's so funny. Yeah, it is. That's what it is. It is until it isn't. I mean, it isn't until it is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, it is until it
Hmm.
is.
Yeah.
All right, square. We go with that. Neptune, Mars is essentially square Neptune 29. So there's just these tests. This is all the sort of tests looking for weaknesses through the week, and then we get to week quanta, right?
Yeah, let's wrap this one up on a big one. Whew, whew.
Yeah.
So, anyway, all righty. And who's got, oh, I got this one. Do I have this one? I got this
Ma'am.
one.
Mhm.
All right, let me take this away. All right. So, week 4, steps 24 through 29, divinely intelligent narrative changes. Now, notice how we put that. Not your mind's intelligent changes. And notice that we said narrative. It isn't about changing that your mind about so much as it is about your mind being changed for you as the divine is unfolding, as your mind is keeping up with that. And I'm seeing in the comments about that we said Tesla. I think I was
She meant SpaceX.
I
We're
meant SpaceX
let me
and
know.
more Elon Musk with all
Yeah,
that. So
yeah.
sorry for the confusion. Tesla doesn't do that. It is
Well, it does
SpaceX.
spontaneously combust, but that's another story.
Yeah. But thank you for listening. That means everyone's listening and you're paying attention. Thank you very much. We appreciate you letting us know that. All right. So during this week, though, the real big thing, keeping faith and carrying on. We've already talked a bit about that, but this is the real week where a lot of that happens. And I'm going to highlight a couple of things that go on during this week because we also have a new moon during this week that Christopher and I will be going over. But during this week is when Mars goes into Capricorn. So now Mars is at a Sagittarius where, okay, the Sagittarius being such an optimistic sign. Okay, you've got
Yeah.
this. You've got this. You've got this. Okay, now I'm not here to convince you of it anymore. Either you believe it and you will act accordingly or you won't. Because that's Mars. You know, Mars is always forward. Mars reminds us things are always going forward. So, go forward with it. And then later on, Jupiter goes to 22 Cancer with a breakdown about how you feel.
Mm.
There's that going on. We have a whole bunch of squares that week. Mars is squaring Neptune, Saturn squaring the Sun. Sun's going to conjunct the galactic center. Mercury's going to square the North Node. The Sun's going to square Neptune. Venus is going to square Saturn. Jupiter's going to square Aries. So, for those of you who can remember some of my pep talks, I'm always talking about that square. It means you got to change direction. You don't get to do what you've normally done because if you do, you're going to hit a wall. Remember that. So we are pivoting this entire week on divine intelligence. That intelligence says, look, going in that direction, driving that way to work always worked, but it's a new road now. You're going to have to take a new route. All right. Keep faith, carry on, and get used to the new route. It's a constant square as we go through this week. And as we go through this week, look, all that change I know for many of you can be tiring. And all of us, I mean, I think that there's certain signs that they're used to the pivot. They're always used to the pivot. But other signs, not so much so. The pivot it's slower. Can I think about the pivot first before I do it? No, you've been thinking about this pivot for years now, and the pivot is here. So give yourself time and a break if you need it, but don't stop the pivot. Okay, continue to move into the pivot. But if the pivot feels a little bad and feels a little weird, go home and watch your favorite kitty or doggy videos. That's okay, but don't stop the pivot because the pivot is underway. And I'm going to use that to toss Christopher into this new moon that's at 28 Sag because that new moon at 28 Sag is the production. This is we talked about 28 earlier, but now look at this one.
This is the publishing of the script. So if you want like movie script, we're going to publish a movie script, and so it is. Go to print. It's a stellium, a super stellium, really, because you have Venus at 24 going. Okay, we accept the film script. The Galactic Center says, okay, you're approved for budget.
Mm-hmm.
And then the script is based on generating and manifesting this vibration, this feeling. You can just say vibration for two. Committed to a vibration that leads to loving and holding space for a new script based on our heart. And Mars, believing in myself, period. I think that's what
Mm-hmm.
you want to say with Mars. It's period. And Aries is one who will go, okay, they will fight to the death, and they don't care if they're wrong, then they're dead, and they know it. You know what I mean? They're
Mm-hmm.
the only ones with the testes to do something like that. Like the rest was like, y'all go ahead, tell me how it turns out. Everyone else, they're like, oh no, like, we should have told what's left. So at the end of the day, it happens. It's going to happen, and so it is. Period. I like the North Node is at 11. This is for
Yeah.
me. This is amazing. This is to love myself and love myself some more. And I feel that love. I feel it. This is getting rid of everything I don't love and I don't want. The world's biggest garage sale right there, happening. We're just taking a whole bunch of stuff is going to go away with yourself and your daily life, and your health problems are going away. A lot's going away when you surrender to the 11 Pisces, right? And the lunar eclipse saying, don't stop at 11. Make sure it goes up to 15 at some point. We already talked about this, all miracles possible, all miracles possible. So, the opposition of the, human beings holding space of 29 and Neptune at 29, again, anything's possible. Chiron saying, it's okay. This last, 500 times this has happened, you failed. Just do it anyways. Look at Jupiter at 22.
Yeah. In that square with Chiron.
Exactly. Squaring Chiron.
Yeah.
Chiron's like,
Yeah.
it's not going to happen again, right? I got you, says Jupiter. I got you.
Uh-huh.
And Jupiter's got you. Jupiter is Sagittarius. I mean, that's why Sagittarius is so optimistic. It owns all of everything. So,
Yeah.
if the ship is going down, Sag is like, where's the bar? Like, bar, we're going. You want important drinks? Like, he's like, they're like telling jokes as the ship's going down. No, sir, you don't say so. That's what, they enjoy the very last drop, right? Here's what's really important, though, is Pluto at 2.
Yeah.
How you feel, don't let anything get in the way of how you feel.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. Don't let your partner's toxic in there. Don't let your poop, dog pooped on the carpet. Don't let that toxic in there. You cannot allow the world to disrupt how you feel. Period, says Pluto. Pluto's a period.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If you do, well, there's next time. I would imagine that, the reason why we have these in history is because you weren't protecting your feelings. That's why you went down with the ship, buddy.
Yep.
Is that. That's what did it. So
Mm-hmm.
we have to protect our feelings because our feelings are the vibration. The 2 that you're committing to right here can only be generated if your 2 is unstoppable. And guess what? What does 11 make? 2.
Mm-hmm.
You love yourself some more. That's quite a feeling, isn't it?
Well, and look at the other stuff at 29. That opposition of Uranus and the previous solar eclipse. There's also something else that has moved to 29. Black Moon Lilith.
Oh, you witch.
She has moved there. And, Christopher, recently I've started talking about Black Moon Lilith as a trickster. And let me justify that for just a minute.
Mm-hmm.
In my world as Reverend Robbie, everything in God's creation is created perfect. There is no planet or mathematical calculation of planets, because that's what Black Moon Lilith is. None of that's created to screw with you. God's universe doesn't work that way. Now, when humans get involved with it, we often use it in a negating way. And so, we talk about Black Moon Lilith as this pissed off female. And look, those stories are relevant because women have a right to own being angry about something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But also, what she ends up doing is showing you a fear because she's not trying to invite you to move into it, but to show you, do you see how silly that is? Do you see how unnecessary that is? And the example that I have given people is, look, I got a bunch of these pencils here on my desk. They've got pretty sharp points. Okay, well, could someone walk into my house and hurt me with that? Could they pick that up and go and hurt me with that? Is that possible? I guess so. Is it probable? No. And how many of us focus on, oh, well, it's probable. It's probable. When our feelings aren't going there, it's our fears going there. So she uses that element of our fear, not in this way to try to get us to go back into it, but to show you how silly it is. And there it is in Scorpio, where some deep fear could come up. Now, there's a reason, Christopher, I want to bring that up. On this day, this is the date that 3i Atlas is going to make its closest approach to Earth.
Whoa. Whoa. Which just, what does that do? First of all, 20 is belief structure. That's a script. So I feel like, and it's like, it's almost like whatever it is, and I have my opinions on it, it's basically say, and keeping the script the possibility of aliens. Chapter, that'll be the third film, it's possible. Yeah, I've talked about this on LOL. I feel like I feel like that's a spaceship that's been abandoned. I just feel it's a dead spaceship. And I feel intuitively that it's a dead spaceship and it's caught in sort of a Gulf Stream in the space that we don't realize exists. I feel like it's just caught in the river and it's going to fly by. But I feel like it's an empty ship.
Oh, I'm so stealing that, Christopher.
Take it. That's what I feel. I was intuiting. I was like, it feels like an empty ship, like some dead star, Enterprise with Kirk just floating, frozen. Something bad happened there. But
because I haven't been able to put my finger on it. But
feels
you
like
say that, and it's like, whoa, that just puts me in a whole new space.
Which isn't like, it tells you without a doubt, okay, we're not alone, which is part of what's going to happen next year. From what I understand, we're going to have undeniable evidence. Could be that itself. I mean, we don't have this, but undeniable evidence that we're not alone. We know we're not alone because psychically we picked that up a long time ago. But yeah, it's interesting. That's interesting that Atlas goes by. Atlas too, isn't that the map? Atlas means map, doesn't it?
I don't know. It is an acronym, but I don't remember what that acronym stands for.
But in the world of collective consciousness and the power of words, it means map. So what's it mapping? I think it's going to map this cosmic river that we didn't know exists. That's why I intuit it. That's why I intuit that we have a there's a ship that's got caught in some river. B, there's rivers.
Or maybe it's a bit like Voyager. Voyager, right. When we sent that out in 1972, has got a golden record on it, a plate, talking about humanity and stuff like that. So maybe it is a probe like that that's out there to let people know, we're here, we're here, we're here. And here's who we are. Yeah.
Or like a galactic float from a pride parade.
Yeah. You come up with the weirdest analogies sometimes.
I swear to God, I definitely have a gay agent up there. It's like always running the fun stuff. It's so fun. Anything else on this that's really powerful? Well, just that we have kind of a dirty trine that's interesting. Going on here at 28 to 2. These are, crossing barriers here. And humans are holding space for this. I feel like the fact that, the diluted yod.
Yeah.
So the diluted yod. So from, Uranus and Jupiter, which to me is like, a yod technically would be 2 quincunxes to the exact degree. We have a quincunx to the exact degree here with Uranus at 28. So let's redo the blueprints for the new script, or let's redo the shoot plan. But then the diluted yod says, and go ahead and include not to 28, but everything down to 22. So from belonging up, actually it should be this. It was down to 22. So basically it pins it down to 22 is what it does. Normally a perfect yod would be 28, both 20 in the bottom and 20 at the top, right? So
the yod, the orb on a yod is very tight. So typically only 1 to 2 degrees, depending upon the astrologer.
But what I've understood from my intuition is that it actually starts to fall in the gravitational pull much earlier than that tight degree. I think the tight degrees of the orbs that are prescribed in classic astrology are precise and guaranteeable, right? I think, and so when you have something that's out of that spectrum, it's comes in, comes out. It may or may not. As far as depending on the will of the people of 22. So I think it leaves it open here, but it basically says, hey, these new blueprints and how you feel about the future, where you belong. Focus on manifesting a frequency, which is what a script is. It's a frequency. Create this vibe, and Sirius Joy is like, and we're going to call that vibe the rhythm of ascension. Like, And not only that, but we haven't talked about the fact that this is how many 28s and how many 28s, Robbie?
I was about to bring that up. This is 28, number 3 of 6 new moons at 28. So this is the third of 6.
So we
Third of
started
6.
with 28 Libra.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, which is a new frequency for human relationships. 28 Scorpio, a new frequency for the boundaries. And then 28 Sagittarius, a new belief structure within those boundaries. And
Mm-hmm.
then 28 Capricorn will be a new, what would you call it? Strategy,
Process.
business plan. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For having it happen. And then it goes Aquarius. 28 would be what? That would be the outcome of the frequency.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I would say the almost the birth of the new belonging, and that thing that I was talking about earlier. Go ahead and believe it, even if go ahead and own that you belong there, even if the space hasn't been created.
mm,
I think
although
maybe
it's been
you
created,
see the space.
space created this week when we hit the new moon tomorrow.
Yeah,
We create the space tomorrow. Yeah.
yeah.
As we're taping, we're saying. Yeah, yeah. And then 28 Pisces, which would be the new spiritual mission is,
Mm-hmm.
Christ has returned.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah, interesting. So what that has is like new moons means new, period. And you may think you're going to do something outside that 28, but you ain't, because it's like you may go and build that restaurant right there in the busiest part of town, but when they build that highway, you ain't getting any business. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
that's what happens. Things just flock over to the 28. So, for those who who doubt that there can be a new world, we've got 6 new moons that says new world. 28 is new world. New world, new world, new world, new world, new world. And the thing is, if you have 6, you just won. Because remember, there's only 6 signs. There's 6 polarities. So you hit all 6, half the signs, the other half gets pulled in automatically. So it's a win-win. It's win, period. There's no, Pluto period. There's no other option.
Well, and look, you're not going to find any other astrology system that talks about it in this way. Those
Correct.
are 6. It started in Libra. 6 is a Libra ruled degree, and those new moons started in Libra. And 28 degrees, that manifestation materialization degree, no one else is going to. I haven't heard any other astrologers talk about this complete number of them like this. We're the only ones talking about it.
Yeah.
And, I just think that just means we understand something that a lot of other people don't. And we're inviting you to move into it with us
Yeah.
because we're certainly going to be living it.
Include us on your bookmark list. I feel like that's not true for everything. I would say going forward, the messengers are changing. Okay. In the sense of some are endowed with the message at birth, some are not. And it's not a better than not better. It's a for now or not for now. The new now, the new, is happening. And so there's going to be new influencers, new guidance and new things. So I would keep everything up in the air, and honestly, the world is based on maybe, it's staying that middle road of just being open to all sides, because the path that we're meant to take is probably not very clear, but it will rise each time you choose one that suits your heart. The next one that suits your heart will appear. So
Mm-hmm.
walk in the path of self-love, I would say, or what you
Yeah.
love the most. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we're just about ready to wrap this up. We got 2 minutes left in the show. We've done a perfect 90-minute.
Mhm.
So going into Sagittarius, I'll say final words. You want to say final words?
Final words. We'll wrap up this week 4 about how can I keep up the momentum of believing. That's the question that we'll be asking ourselves. So it is, what kind of strategy am I putting together to make sure that I keep that up, protecting myself from the rest of the world? And so I guess that would be my Sag wrap up, is that when you are in new places, new strategies are required. And this is a new place. It's a new form of belief. And it coming after Scorpio reminds us that there are things that we have to protect. So be mindful about who you decide to share your enthusiasm with. Some people will not understand it. They will take you to task. They'll try all kinds of things. And so be selective about that. And these things of value that's 28 degrees also recognizes if I share this with you, can you bring value to me with this? I'm thinking not, so I will not. And so remember the teachings of Scorpio that say boundaries are good. And as the old proverb goes, good fences make good neighbors. And in that way, even those people who maybe we're not in a good place with in terms of beliefs, at least we're in a good place. I'm on this side of the fence and you're on the other. But it is a place where the belief structure is changing. What we believe is changing, how we believe, and the foundation of it is certainly changing. And it is a divine intelligence that's leading to that. Trust that divine intelligence. And I think that we're going to be even more sovereign in how we hear that divine intelligence when we start disconnecting from the lack of intelligence of a lot of the people, places, and things and narratives that are around us. That's how I would sum up Sagittarius, Mr. Christopher.
I feel that everyone starts off with a dream and a hope and a desire, and then slowly the world has crushed it. And I feel it's about going back to that rhythm inside of you. I'm going to be preaching rhythm. I feel like for me, there's certain songs that I play in the morning that get me back into my dreams. Like they just inspire me back into it because music is a literal vibration. So my advice is you have your vibration reminders that you recharge on a daily basis. Every morning, recharge your vibration. SiriusJoy.com is that recharging agent. We are a recharging agent to come and recharge your vibration and get it ready to go out there in the world. And the truth of the matter is the loudest vibration will win. That's what the frequency wars are, is trying to out vibe each other. And we don't listen to the others. We just focus on our beat. We don't lose our melody. We don't lose our beat. We don't lose our, pep in our feet. You just march to the rhythm of your vibration day after day and reset, recenter, refocus every day. And I think you will find yourself where you want to be. Because one thing about a frequency is it's heading somewhere, right? So when you line to a frequency, you will end up where it belongs, exactly where you belong. And you feel that vibe right now. And the way we're looking at it is like find the vibe, own the vibe, make it your hive. So we were all, you find the vibe, you will find your hive, you'll find your people, you'll find the people you're longing for. The problem is that we listen to other frequencies and we wrongly took it into consideration of who we are. Why would God take into consideration any other gods creating anything? You are the creator of your own universe. Create as you will and see what happens. It's really magical, And I agree with Robbie. Protect it. Don't let any of that stuff in. Nothing else has a place inside of you. It's a vault. It's you, God, period. That's it. That's all there is really on the universe. Everyone else is just an interesting aspect, including me. So, be serious only about your joy is our mission. Yeah. So that's my closing statement. I think you will believe, but to me, music is a great way. I just love, Sagittarius are always big music people too. First three rows of, chicks on shoulders are Sages. You know what I mean? With their Scorpio man underneath there, or whatever. So it's fun stuff. Well, I look forward to it. We'll be back with Sirius Capricorn here. What we're going to get serious about here. We always air the Wednesday before the sign change. Robbie, tell us about where people can find you as Reverend Robbie.
Well, you can find me in two places. First, I am under the moniker of Bite Size Astrology. So you can find that bitesizeastrology.com and across all kinds of social media. And my Reverend Robbie presence is still being built. I do have a Facebook and a website out there, but I have that underway, working with some creatives right now to get some of that together. So that is where I am. And I will be here in Capricorn to team up with my old partner here, Christopher, to bring you this step astrology and the wisdom of it and help you navigate some of these waters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one thing I love about step astrology is precise, mathematical. Thank you very much, Robbie. It's always a pleasure to work with you. I'll be at Sirius Joy working my butt skis off. We're launching. I have a class called Mastering Self-Love starting on the last Sunday of this month on November 30th, and it will be for every Sunday until April. 16-week class based on getting ready for the big jam going on. So if you're not in shape, you can be. 16-week course. If you're a subscriber, then you're going to get it for free because we love you. If you're a non-subscriber, you can get it actually for a special price. We'll talk about that coming up. And also, you can buy the class just outright. It's at seriousjoy.academy or sign up for seriousjoy.com. There's never been a better time than now. Sign up for seriousjoy.com because we'll be marching to that beat every day. When you need to recharge your vibe, come to Serious Joy. That's what we're here to do. All right. Well, friends, we are so grateful to have been of service to you. This wisdom would not be as much fun if someone didn't want to listen. So thank you, Robbie. Thanks, everyone, for watching. We'll see you next month. Live, love, be.
All right. Love and blessings to you all.
Happy holidays! I'm Sanandra, founder of CG Organics. For the past 30 years, our goal has been to bring the healing power of plants into your everyday life with simple, clean, organic skin and hair care made with love. CG makes a wonderful gift for the holidays. Enter code word JOY30 at checkout and you'll receive 30% off any individual CG skin and hair care product.
Happy holidays!
Did you know that discordant energies such as illness, trauma, violence, and depression can linger on a property for hundreds of years, going all the way back to the very beginning of that parcel of land? This can also happen with family heirlooms, antiques, or again previously owned furniture. If you've been feeling blocked in life, more ill than usual, or again just uncomfortable in your home, your space could be holding onto residual energies. Refresh My Property can help clear these energies remotely. Scan the QR code to get your free phone consultation today and begin clearing your space.